Hey, gaming community. Welcome back to another episode of Gaming Fun with Hoplite Evolved. My name is Eagle Eye.
And this is Noble. Welcome to the podcast.
So, Noble, we decided to come back for episode 2 of season 2. We are going to do the next Halo game that we ranked as far as campaign goes from worst to best. And that game, Noble, happens to be which one?
It is the Halo Infinite campaign.
Yeah, unfortunately, the two of the newest ones, no, the two newest ones are the two bottom ranked ones. Did you see that one coming?
No, I'm not surprised. Not a shocker.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is really shocked by this. So, again, we're going to do a spoiler alert here, guys. Anyone that has not played the new Halo Infinite campaign, if you don't want to know anything, please note that there are going to be spoilers here because we are about to read a recap of the campaign. So, if you do not want to listen, I recommend logging off and checking back after you played it. So, Noble, you remember this campaign, unfortunately, because it's the newest one, right?
Right.
So this one is set, it's on the Forerunner planet Ringworld, installation 07, not 007, unfortunately.
Dang it.
Zeta Halo is the other name for it. 2559, the UNSC flagship Infinity arrives at Zeta Halo, only to be ambushed and boarded by the Banished. Atriox defeats the Master Chief, drops him into space. 6 months later, a UNSC pilot recovers Chief and gets him up and running, gets him going back again. Pilot says, "Hey, man, we got to get the heck out of here." Chief goes, "No, bro, we got to go back in the fight. I need to beat these guys." And the pilot's like, "You're freaking crazy." So Chief and Pilot travel over to Zeta Halo, which has been severely damaged by an unknown calamity. On the ring, Master Chief locates the weapon, who is a new AI Cortana, and they meant to capture Cortana for deletion, but Weapon was not able to do so. While the Weapon states that she was successful in her mission, she did not self-delete as her protocol happened. Master Chief retrieves Weapon and takes her through the rest of the game with him. Zeta Halo is controlled by the Banished, now led by Atriox's Lieutenant Escharum, after Atriox's apparent death. Master Chief, the Weapon, and a reluctant pilot rally scattered UNSC forces around the ring's surface. Inside the Forerunner installation known as the Conservatory, Master Chief encounters Despondent Pyre, the monitor of Zeta Halo. Despondent Pyre attempts to warn Master Chief of the threat contained within the installation, but is destroyed by Harbinger. I hope I said that right.
Maybe Harbinger?
Harbinger, that's probably the right one. Don't listen
Not
to me
sure.
on the first one, folks.
We need Bub.
We need Bub, right? An alien awoken by the Banished. Harbinger claims that her people, the Endless, were imprisoned by the Forerunners on Zeta Halo. She has allied herself with the Banished in order to rebuild the silent auditorium, which will allow her to free her people. The pilot reveals that he was a civilian engineer aboard Infinity who stole a Pelican to flee from the battle. The Chief confronts him here, admits his own guilt over his failure to save Cortana, and they really kind of bonded there and had a moment, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I know I remember that one sticking out to me in this. Master Chief and the Weapon stop Zeta Halo's repair process by disabling a series of spires on the ring. When Harbinger attempts to hack the Weapon, Chief activates the failsafe to delete the AI. However, it doesn't work. The AI repels the Harbinger and deactivates the failsafe, and she gets mad at Chief. She's like, "What, do you not trust me?" And Chief's like, should I?
Right.
But after seeing a visioning in which Cortana uses the Guardians to destroy the Brute's home planet of Doisic? Doisic?
I can't help you there.
I cannot pronounce that
I can't help you there.
Weapon realizes that she is a copy of Cortana and insists that the Master Chief delete her at that point. But he doesn't. He says he trusts her, and he keeps her on. Pilot gets captured by, I cannot pronounce this one, Jaga Radomni. It's a Sangheili Spartan killer and a close friend of Escharum as bait for Master Chief. And unwilling to let the pilot die, Master Chief obviously goes after him because that's what he does.
Right.
He ends up beating both of them in the process. Master Chief and the Weapon head to the Silent Auditorium to stop Harbinger. The two The two learn that Cortana was captured by Atriox after the weapon locked her down. Upon realizing that Atriox intended to use the ring, she destroyed herself, damaged Zeta Halo, and prevented the weapon from being deleted. So she knew it was coming, and yet she allowed Chief to have the next version of her, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, Cortana's not all bad, right? In a recorded message, Cortana says goodbye to Chief and encourages him to work on the weapon, to work with the weapon. Chief defeats Harbinger, but he is unable to stop her from contacting someone regarding the Endless. Afterwards, the weapon and Chief reunite with the pilot, who reveals that his real name is Fernando Esperanza. The weapon decides to choose a name for herself, and then the trio prepare to liberate the rest of the ring from the remaining Banished. In a post-credit scene, an alive Atriox uses a key to unlock a sealed door leading to the Endless. If the game is finished on Legendary, which I did not do, by the way, the scene features dialogue between Despondent Pyre and the Forerunner Grand Edict about the imprisonment of the Endless. When Despondent Pyre states that she cannot oversee the study of the Endless alone, the Grand Edict replies with the AI offensive bias has deployed to assist her. So, that's the rundown of the campaign. What do you think, B?
Man, there's a lot of names that are hard to pronounce.
My man, why'd you have to go remind me of my failure, too?
I didn't know, man. I was reading that like, how do you pronounce this?
Yeah, I have no idea, but but we tried to make it work. Hopefully, everyone will work with us on this one. All right, so let's start with the good, man. Let's start with the good.
Okay.
What do you think are the pros of this campaign?
So one of the pros of the campaign that I loved, you know, going back to the Call of Duty franchises, I was always a fan of advanced movement. Using the grapple hook was super fun in this game.
Yeah.
You know, it made it, you know, easier to maneuver around the whole map, made it slightly faster to move with the grapple hook, made for some cool fights and things like that. And also a lot of great memes came out of this, which was awesome. Of course.
And I loved when you get the shock and you hit them with the grapple hook and they just get frozen and being shocked. And then you just come in, whack.
Yeah,
that was awesome. That was a good one.
Yeah, a lot of cool things came from that. So that was one of my highlights for sure. You know, I also like the idea of like boss battles in the campaign as well. The enemies really felt distinguished and tougher than just regular enemies that you're fighting, you know, day to day and all this and that.
I do agree with that. I loved how they added the health bar and everything. Like they felt like actual bosses compared to just a little bit harder of a standard enemy.
Right. And then also just, you know, the ring was really beautiful. I love the art style of this Halo. And I just also felt like we actually got to play as Master Chief in a story again, considering, you know, how little we played him in Halo 5. But those are like my main pros of the campaign. I think it was decently written. But what do you think, man?
So I enjoyed the open world aspect of this campaign. You know, I've always loved open world games. I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan.
Right.
It lets you roam and do the other things besides just follow that main storyline. And that's what I love about those games. I don't know that there were many true side quests, really, but it's fun to run around, get to have some fun doing weird things that you don't usually get to do. And it leaves a lot of DLC ability. You know, people can go make a bunch of DLCs for this. So the next thing I really liked, I did think the story was pretty good. I think it was interesting. Then they tried to tie in a few different things and a few factions in with Chief. You know, they tied in the Atriox and the Banished from the Halo Wars.
Right.
And it does help bring more of the Forerunner lore, in my opinion. I think that came through on this one. And it's good for those of us that don't really want to look up the lore, you know, so they were able to inform us that way. I do like the co-op campaign. I don't know if you played it yet, but the campaign co-op open world is fun.
Oh, yeah,
it's good. It's a good change of pace. You get to run around with your brother. Now, the one thing I will say is you cannot get too far away from each other.
Oh, really?
That does cause an issue, but you can get pretty far, and it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
I also don't feel like in Halo 5, I mentioned how I felt like the campaign kind of carried. You
Right.
know, it just felt like they stretched it. I don't think they stretched this one. I think it was better executed on that side, even if only slightly better. I feel like it felt like a good overall experience as far as like wasn't too long, wasn't too short. Um, but yeah, that's my opinion on the pros.
Yeah, and I like kind of what you're saying there is like you could also with the open world aspect kind of just take the game at your own pace. So if you wanted to
Exactly.
drag it out, you could with a few like side missions and other things and
Hmm.
exploration that you have, or if you just wanted to
Right.
run through like the main missions, you can do that. So it's kind of your own
Exactly.
pace and it's kind of like tailored more towards you how you want to play. So that was cool.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I agree. So we talked about the pros. We're gonna jump right into the cons,
All right.
and I'm gonna start this one off. Um, I think you can lose track of the story if you're not paying attention to it,
Sure.
and doing everything outside the storyline. Like you said right there, you can go out and play at your own pace, but I feel like if you run around and do all the different things, you're gonna miss parts of the story because you're not paying attention, and it's been too long in between missions. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
I think they could have done more with the open world and side quests,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. I don't think there was many side quests. It was more like,
No.
oh, just go here and kill some people,
Right.
and go here and just kind of do this. It didn't feel like I don't know, more RPG like I thought it was going to be. You know, it built repetitive tasks like they do in games like Assassin's Creed, which is funny because I really like Assassin's Creed,
Right.
but that's the one thing I hate is when everything gets super repetitive.
Right.
I just think it could have been executed differently. And then the last con that I had is the fact that the co op took so long to get released. I
Yes.
wanted that day one. I wanted it absolutely right then and there, but they were so focused on the multiplayer that they failed us on getting us that co op.
Yeah. That was a huge miss in my opinion too. Because
I
honestly,
agree.
to this day I still haven't played the co-op campaign. Like I tried
Yeah.
playing it with my brother, but we
Mm-hmm.
were on separate PCs playing it kind of at the same time,
Right.
and so trying to get our schedules to match because we're both grown now. We both got our own responsibilities, so it probably took us longer than we would have liked, but
Exactly. But what about you, man? What do you think were some of the cons?
so for me, like the story itself was, it was pretty basic. Had a few twists, that I did appreciate, but there's also some retcon from the previous games, some things just left out entirely. Whether intentional or not, it just made me a little bit
Mm-hmm.
frustrated and feeling like I didn't get any kind of closure at all from the previous game
Right.
or from Halo 4 even. So that was kind of
Right.
one of those things that I didn't really care about in the campaign. Um,
Yeah.
Overall it was good, but it still left something to be desired, and it felt as if it was like its own game instead of part of that reclaimer side.
Right. And I agree with you. I really think that Halo 4 started something, but it felt like Halo 5 was completely different in anything that Halo 4 did. And then Halo Infinite kind of touched on what Halo 4 was doing, but
Mm-hmm.
then didn't, and it became its own thing as well. So you kind of get that reclaimer like I had mentioned, but it's just not all there, I
Right,
think.
right. And then
What else you got?
the other thing I got, and I know I kind of put this as one of my pros, but being able to play as only Master Chief could be a con for some individuals. I understand why they did it, with it being open world and everything. But I know, you and others like yourself would like to see another perspective or get to play as another character during that to kind of break it up. But with that being said, I would much rather play only Master Chief than hardly any Master Chief at all.
I agree with you. I think another way that they could do this is if they bring back Noble Six. We're
Oh
gonna go ahead
yeah,
and start that right now. I want him back. Like it didn't actually show he died.
yeah, bring him
Let's be
back.
real here. Let's bring him back. That being said, though, I also think it would be kind of cool if you created a Spartan and it was you
Oh
as
yeah,
a Spartan, and instead of playing as Master Chief, maybe you get led by Master Chief. You know,
that would be pretty cool.
I think that would be an interesting concept too.
I would love that.
So, all right. Next thing we always talk about is going to be favorite or good memories of the campaign. I'm going to let you run with this one.
Well, for me, is the first time playing a real open world Halo game, so that was pretty fun. Um,
Yeah.
exploring the world, doing missions in just whatever order you felt like, was pretty cool for me. As
Hmm.
always, loving the Easter eggs and finding items throughout the map and kind of going for like a 100% completion. I like to do that. And
Did
several,
you
like,
get 100% in this one?
I don't think I'm there yet, but me and Colin went through a lot of the campaign trying to find everything. We even
Yeah.
found like a surprise Easter egg of Spartan Locke's helmet laying somewhere
Oh, really?
that we found online, because I know it doesn't give real closure in the game. There's no like death for him, of course, but you see his helmet on the ground. So I wonder what that's supposed to mean. But that part's
Yeah.
always fun. World exploring, game exploring is always fun
Hmm.
for me, and it's just one of those memories that I hold on to. Um,
Absolutely.
Also, seeing Cortana as the weapon was pretty cool. Brought some nostalgia, that I had from the first few Halos. Getting to
Oh,
team up
yeah.
with Cortana again, like she's not evil, just kind of brought back those good times.
Hmm.
And then of course, some of the memes from Halo Infinite cracked me up, like the Spider-Man memes with Master Chief swinging around with the grapple hook. People were saying, Xbox creates a better Spider-Man game than PlayStation does, and it was hilarious.
Oh man, that's hilarious. I love it. I haven't seen them all, but yeah, the you always gotta love the memes that come out of these games, right?
Right, absolutely. What about you, man?
So for me, running around the map with Bub, as I mentioned earlier in that co-op campaign, it's really the highlight of the campaign for me. I loved it. I
Mhm.
remember rushing through to beat it at first because I was playing solo. I wanted to beat it. I had to know what was going on, and then I didn't really enjoy it too much. But going back a second time, playing through with him and anyone else that joins in, it's just a lot more fun. I
Right.
remember sitting back while I tried to fight the invisible elite guy. Oh my god, Bub, he literally was laughing at me as I'm trying to fight this guy. He's like, dude, you got this. I'm just going to chill over here. And I'm like, bro,
Oh
this is the
man.
worst part of the game for me.
Yes.
And
And
he's
deaths
just
become so much
cracking up.
funnier.
Right. And it was too. He'd be like, why are you dying again, man? Come on. I'm over here like, I don't know why I'm struggling. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun playing the co op, man. I really recommend the co op to anyone out there that hasn't done it yet. It is a ton of fun, but the story, you're not going to get much more out of it if you have already played the story. It's just there for you to have some good times with your friends and family.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, bad memories of the campaign. All right, I just mentioned it, that gosh darn elite guy in the tower. The invisible elite guy, he was the bane of my existence, I swear. I had so much trouble with him, dude.
For
And
me,
it's just cuz
oh, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was just gonna say I'm not a pro, and it just was a struggle for me. It really was. I beat him on heroic, I did, but
Nice.
I don't want to even try beating him on legendary. Dear Lord.
Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah, the bane for my existence was the like one of the first like bosses, and he had like a hammer in like this building. I forget what it was, but he was just chasing me down with that grab hammer, and I just could not get away for the life of me.
Right? Yeah. And the other bad memory for me is just how long it took the co-op to come out.
Yeah,
It bothered the crap out of me.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Um,
So what about you, bud?
I mean, kind of like what I was saying earlier. The one bad memory that really stands out is just the co-op. So I think my brother and I played the separate campaigns at the same time, and just kind of used Discord to show each other's screens to simulate us playing together. But I wish we could have
Hmm.
just done that real time, with each other, instead of having to kind of maneuver around that.
Exactly.
That's the only bad memory I really have. And if they had it complete from day one, I would have had a way better time with this game.
I actually think that this game would have got rated better just based
Yeah,
on co-op alone, to
sure.
be honest with you. All right, so we rated this 7 out of 8 of the games that we're
Hmm.
rating, and we both agreed it's a C rating,
Yeah.
right? So I rated it a C because I felt it was average. C is average, right? And
Yeah.
that's what I felt like this game was. It was average. It had good ideas, but it had bad execution on it. The open world had and has so much potential. I feel like because they just rushed it and they focused on the multiplayer that they let that campaign suffer.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part about this is that a lot of people are into Halo, yes, for the multiplayer, but also for those campaigns.
Mm.
And I feel like that they're letting that part of it suffer. It does not deserve to be ranked higher than any other Halo campaign besides Halo 5 for these reasons alone.
Gotcha.
The story was better than 5, but nowhere near as good as the other titles in the franchise. So I think a C is generous for it, and I think the other games just top it. I
Yeah.
just don't feel like it deserved to be above them.
Sure.
So,
And
what about you, bud?
and I rated it a C as well. You know, although I enjoyed the story as a whole, you know, again, there just seemed to be more retcon of the previous Halo, which left me with
Mhm.
more questions or just frustrated me in general. The story, in my opinion, is better than Guardians. You know, however, I don't believe it's better than some of the other Halo campaigns. It has some great world building elements, you know, to make for a great sequel game, though.
Mhm.
You know, once they get more experience with the open world aspect, I think, you know, there's a brighter future for Halo campaigns than we have seen in the past several years, at least from 343. This game could have potential, you know, with 343 hiring the right talent and people that are, you know, passionate about the franchise. You know, it's a great game, but, you know, I think C is appropriate for the Halo franchise, like as a whole for this game.
Especially where it's at right now.
Right.
It can get better. And DLCs can definitely put it better. But
Sure.
as of right now, it's better than only Halo 5, and I think average is the best place to put it.
Absolutely.
Do you have anything else you want to add about this game?
I think that's it.
All right. I agree with you. Hey, gamers, it's been great sitting here, having fun talking about this game. We're going to get back at you next week, hopefully, and talk about the next game in the franchise that we ranked at 6th out of 8. So until then, keep gaming and keep having fun. Also, check us out on our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're trying to post on there a lot more, get more active engagement with you guys, and we want to hear from you. So hit us up on there. But keep gaming and keep having fun.
We've lost a teammate.